Here, look at this. What is it? It's what comes for your children when you're not watching them. It's the Boogeyman, and he's coming to get you! The Boogeyman 2023 was directed by Rob Savage, who's done shorts, as well as a Shudder original called Host that was quite good, filmed during the pandemic, centered around the pandemic, and was also nice and expedient, had a great runtime, and had life and energy and quite a few scares, and was really, really good. He followed that up with Dashcam, which was less than good. In fact, it was one of the worst movies of 2022. It was absolutely a complete abomination, featuring one of the worst main characters in movie history. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that. But anyway, this was written by three different people. Three people had to write The Boogeyman, by the way, based on a short story by Stephen King, the noted horror auteur who's really, really talented as far as a writer. Maybe not so much as a director, but Stephen King has created and come up with a lot of great goddamn stories that have had adaptations that have ranged from Maximum Overdrive to, well, the new It. So yeah, the other three writers. Scott Beck, who did 65 and A Quiet Place 1 and 2, and then Brian Woods, who probably should have been left out in the goddamn woods. That's mean. It's not Brian Woods' fault. He did 65 and A Quiet Place, and then Mark Heyman, not to be confused with Paul Heyman, because Mark and Paul are two different names. Black Swan. One of the writers of Black Swan, that was a terrific goddamn movie, and one of the few good to even great Darren Aronofsky movies, had something to do with this. So yeah, two people that wrote 65. That actually explains quite a bit about the Boogeyman. So this isn't to be confused with the Boogeyman 2005, because one is 2023, not 2005. The Boogeyman 2005 is such an obscure mid-2000s horror movie that I'm pretty certain nobody watching this actually remembers. If you remember it, please let me know in the comments, because I remember seeing it, and it was absolute goddamn ass. Also, this, gave me flashbacks to Darkness Falls. So take Darkness Falls, Boogeyman 2005, a PG-13 rating, and just a bunch of jump scares that are never goddamn earned, and you get the Boogeyman. And this is the most disappointing thing about the Boogeyman. I didn't like this, by the way, just in case you guys have not, picked up on that, the subtle hints that I've given. But yeah, two of the writers that did 65, which was a goddamn abomination, a waste of money, and a waste of talent, and a waste of resources, and barely had anybody in the goddamn movie, and that includes in the cast and in the theaters. That movie didn't make fucking shit at the box office. And this came out the same week as Across the Spoderverse, which I didn't watch. Mainly, I don't like crowds, and two, I decided to give this a shot. Now, in the trailer, if you've seen the extended trailer, the one that came out, then you've seen quite a few of the jump scares in the movie. Now, that's not always the worst thing in the world if you feel like they're earned, but here's the problem. PG-13 horror, you can do PG-13 horror, but generally, not a lot of great PG-13 horror movies out there. I may have to do a list of the 10 best PG-13 horror movies, but I don't know if I can find 10. I haven't seen that many recently, but I was willing to give this a chance. And then the opening scene happened, I said, oh, okay, we're going this route. I'm starting to think that Rob Savage was a one-hit wonder with Host. Because while this is not as egregiously bad as Dashcam, this got a theatrical release, and there are so many movies that get released straight to streaming, that is. Influencer and a few others recently that were so goddamn good and creative and utilized a micro budget pretty well, and this had some money behind it. Maybe not a serious amount of money, but enough money. Enough money to warrant them getting people such as Sophie Thatcher. I don't know who that is, but she plays Sadie Harper. I think I've seen her in like one other thing, but I'm not that familiar with her work. She's the older daughter. She was fine. Let me say right now that the cast is not the issue here. I don't have an issue with the actors specifically. It's the way they're written, or not written, or badly written, or written to the point that it seems like every single writer was held hostage and was forced to write like an AI program. Or maybe they were replaced by AI programs, and these are the actual AI programs, and they're just idiotic. Because there is no excuse for lazy writing like this. This is lazy. This is abysmal. This is terrible. And I'm all for people getting money. I'm all for people, doing projects and growing on to do bigger and better things, but this was just terrible. You had Chris Mezzana, not Mezzanine. I think you're Mezzanine, sir. Good old horror Spider Island. Man, God, I can't believe I remember that from that MST3K. He plays Will. And then you have Sawyer, played by Vivian Lyra Blair, the little girl. And the girl's the smartest one out of the entire thing. The little kid's the smartest character out of the entire goddamn movie. And recently, Will lost his wife, the kid's mother, in a car accident. And that's really all we know. And sometime after this, having a month or so, the kids are going back to school. And let's just say that Sadie has a group of friends that aren't exactly her friends, even though she has one that apparently is her best friend. We know this because this is referenced once in a goddamn chat. But every other friend, it does not seem like these girls would be willing or be able to live in the same goddamn zip code or willing to coexist even in the same county. How were these girls ever friends? What the fuck writing is this? Anyway, if you've seen the trailer, there are a few cool shots that actually, frustrate me even more because there are some decent shots and some good camera work here, such as the little girl, Sawyer, having a glowing ball. The glowing ball, and she puts it on the ground, and then it does this turn and everything, so it looks like you're looking under the bed with her. Now, that's a really cool shot. The problem is, that's the best part of the goddamn movie. I mean, when one lone shot is the best thing about your PG-13 horror movie, and I don't even think an R rating would have helped this. In fact, an R rating might have actually just made this even dumber because they might have gone over the top with the gore instead of trying to be suspenseful and everything. Here's the thing. None of the jump scares are earned. None of the jump scare noises are any good. Even the producer is having to chime in here, and he didn't want to watch any of this stuff. And then he left because he thought, I don't want to talk about the Boogeyman. I'm tired of talking about bad horror movies. Watch something good, goddammit. I'm going to have to give him chicken because he is very, very frustrated currently and wondering why in the world one of the owners of this house is shouting continuously. So, yeah, basically the Boogeyman is just a series of jump scares involving, wait for it, the Boogeyman. I know, I waited this long to say who the villain is. And none of the people are smart. None of them are smart. Every single jump scare is absolutely just cliched and dull. And so many of these characters are so poorly written or just drop out totally. There's one guy that shows up because Will's a therapist, and he still sees people in his house and he's dived more into his work. He cares about his daughters. Doesn't really want to talk about all the stuff going on with the after effects of the mother's death. And this guy shows up and says, oh, my children died and they think I did it, but I didn't do it. And now there's this terrible thing coming after me and everything. And then suddenly, after a series of things occur, it becomes very obvious that Sadie is like saying to Sawyer, don't worry, it's not real. But then it turns out it's actually very real because if you're in a movie called The Boogeyman, it has to be real. It has to be goddamn real. This is what I'm going to do right now because I don't need these fucking goddamn notes anymore. Because this movie is one of the worst horror offerings I have seen all year. Yes, I have seen plenty of goddamn things. Even the goddamn producer finally is deciding to chime in and get upset. He's chirping. He's mad. He's all frustrated. I can't believe that the goddamn thing... He doesn't even want to say anything. He doesn't even want to say anything more. He just wanted to chirp. Because cats are adorable. Anyway... Okay, let's basically get to the spoilers here. The plot, such as it is minuscule. It doesn't mean anything. It's 95 minutes or so, and it takes forever. It takes goddamn forever. It's so bad. It's so goddamn bad. Absolutely terrible. Every character is written very one-dimensional. Any emotional attachment they try to have with the various characters could have worked if the characters were actually written halfway decently, but no, they were basically written by people held at gunpoint, I'm convinced now. Or I'm convinced that maybe the people that wrote A Quiet Place were able to just hit one good movie, and ever since then, they haven't made anything good, because A Quiet Place 2 was not very good, and 65 sucked. Rob Savage maybe needs people watching over him to make sure he doesn't make stuff like The Boogeyman. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. By the way, I don't think this thing's going to be out in theaters very long before it's out on streaming, and you can make fun of it with friends and wonder why they didn't make it better. So yeah, basically, in the very beginning, there was rap, as our Lord and Savior, Dr. Dre once said, and a little girl is all scared, and then the boogeyman shows up and kills her. And then we find out that Sadie is not well liked by a lot of people. There are people that care about her and are like, we're really sorry what happened to your mother, but she has AirPods in, and she's wearing her mother's dress. And there was an old lunch that she had left in her locker because she found out that her mother died, and then that's all rotted. And then one friend, one particularly bitchy blonde, decides to make fun of her, and then the stuff gets squished up against her, and it's all messy. It's all over her dress. Meanwhile, Sawyer has this glowing ball and everything, and has lights all around her room. Why? Because it's like Darkness Falls, with a bunch of lights and everything. And actually, I take that back. Darkness Falls had the excuse of coming out in the 2000s, early 2000s, and being a cash grab. This has no right to be as bad as it is. Directors, writers, people making this should know better. Studios should know better. So nevertheless, what ends up happening is Sadie's washing the dress. This guy Lester shows up. Not Lester the Unlikely, not that terrible SNES game that did exist, believe it or not. Nerd crashes on an island and acts scared of everything. God, video games are great. And during this, Sadie's washing the dress. This guy Lester shows up, shows a drawing to Will, and then freaks out because the closet door is open. And then he is being haunted by all this stuff. And then he ends up wandering around the house after Will says he's going to use the bathroom, calls the police or somebody. And then this guy, the paint room that the mom used to have this paint studio is all wrecked. And Lester's in the goddamn closet yelling and whatever. And then he's suddenly found hanging from the goddamn door. So he's all traumatized. Sadie says, I think I heard something going on here. Oh, he was struggling. That's why. He was struggling to hang himself. That's why it sounded like a fight. And no, there's actually something going on here. And then she decides, in her infinite wisdom, to have her best friend help her after these other friends, these alleged best friends, were bitches to her. Hey, drive me to this house of this guy that died in my house, that apparently murdered his children, and I'll see what's going on here. There's all these... It's like this black mold, tendrils, root stuff and everything all over the house. And also there's candles melted all over this house, and it's all dilapidated and whatever. And the wife's alive. The wife's somehow alive. Why is the wife alive? Because movie. That's why she's alive. And also, there is a Polaroid camera thing set in the closet where if you pull it open, then boom, it takes a picture of you. So she's investigating, trying to find out this stuff. Hey, here's this drawing that, I found. Oh, it's attached to you now. Earlier in the movie, by the way, Sawyer was having issues with a tooth, and that tooth got pulled out when the boogeyman pulled the thing closed. And then it was on the string, and then the thing got pulled instead of under the door. It got pulled up, and then through the little door, like, slot thing, whatever, something or other. That's all it really is. And then Will is continuing to just deny all this stuff's going on. Sawyer is using the ball to basically explore all this stuff, and she does the bed scene and shoves it under there. And oh my god, it's there! Oh geez, it's all there. The creature effects are terrible, by the way. Terrible CGI. Mama had great CGI, and even that wasn't that great. That came out 10 years ago. And I thought the Boogeyman in 2005 looked bad. This is almost as bad. At least from what I can goddamn remember. This was goddamn terrible. And then the idea is, okay, the sister has been, whatever. She's going to play video games as long as she leaves the little girl, Sawyer, as long as she leaves Sadie alone. So Sadie can hang out with her friend. Her best friend that wanted to do this. and the girls that have treated her like shit, and there is no indication it's going to go any better, and it doesn't go any better. The blonde is still a goddamn bitch. They get high after Sadie finds some stuff that her mother had, and also has been trying to do occasional seances where, like, if the flame moves to the left, then that means that the spirit's trying to contact you. And I swear, the person on that YouTube channel was the same seance person that was in Host. If not, close enough for goddamn rock and roll. Good job recycling your shit if that's true. So, the girls are all there. The blonde shoves Sadie in the closet. After all this room and, these rooms are cleared out and boxed up because the dad is tired of looking at the stuff, and I don't necessarily blame him. People compartmentalize differently. And the creature is trying to get her. And then the girl's playing some PlayStation 4 or 5 game, I don't know. And then uses the lights to, uses the lights and firing stuff to, show all this shiny stuff. And then the creature's moving around. And then the creature ends up throwing her into the TV. They go to the hospital. The dad's all crying because he's upset about all this shit that's going on. that he never dealt with it like he should have. Also, there was an earlier therapy session with this therapist who wanted the dad to come along, but talked to the girls and had this blinking red light where it was blinking, and then it would turn off longer and longer. And then the boogeyman creature is crawling on the things like, could you stop that? I'm trying to be spoopy. And then the bright idea that Sadie has, she had left her number on the dry erase board at the place before the mother had talked to her. And the mother called her and said, hey, I have an idea on how to kill this thing. There's all these tripwires, all this, to fire all these bullets from all these guns that this woman apparently somehow was able to have. And nobody bothered to think, hey, we probably shouldn't sell to this woman that just lost her children and then lost her husband and everything. Is there a wait period in the state? Evidently not. And there's all these tripwires, and then she zip ties Sadie to the goddamn pipe in this dilapidated house. And then the boogeyman runs in and gets all shot. And then the mother shoots him a few more times, spits on him, and then he rises up and kills her. Sadie manages to escape, breaking the zip ties rather easily, and shines lights because it doesn't like the light. And then the dad gets home with Sawyer, gets pulled into the house. The dad's getting taken into the basement because he's going to be sacrificed by this spoopy creature. And then Sadie finds Sawyer wrapped in Christmas lights, and they're connected to this extension cord apparently. And they go all down and into the basement, and then they come up with this bright idea to, do the dumbest things possible, basically. Instead of, I don't know, maybe getting something, maybe doing something other than just having this one Zippo lighter that the mother used to have apparently when she got high. Don't have a gun, don't have anything else, don't have knives, don't have that. Let's just be dumb. Let's have a hockey stick. Yeah, that's great. God, I hated every character in this goddamn movie. Fuck you, the boogeyman. How dare you? How dare you? So then, their bright idea is to get the boogeyman to chase him. The dad gets his ankle broken when he gets thrown around. And then there's this aerosol can that the younger daughter had. So Sadie gets a Zippo lighter and starts burning the thing, and burns it to its little corner layer, and then the thing runs out. Then there's this paint thinner. And then Sawyer throws a paint thinner on there. And then throws a lighter on there. And really bad CGI. Good grief. And then the thing gets set on fire. And then the house burns down, by the way, along with all the effects. But it takes care of the pain and the trauma and all the stuff and the suffering and everything. But not the suffering of the goddamn viewers. They're still watching this. And then they're in therapy. And everything's fine. And then Sadie hears the therapist call her back. But it's not the therapist. The boogeyman is somehow still alive. But she shuts the closet door. And then that's it. And then Elvis Presley's Burning Love plays. No, really. That was the movie. This was one of the worst horror offerings I have seen in a while. How dare you? How dare you, studio that made this? God damn it. F. It's an F. So bad even my cat didn't want to chime in on this damn thing. And he chimes in on everything. Because he loves the camera. The camera loves him. F. Terrible. Top 10 worst of the year. Agree, disagree with what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.